This is the Science Show with Dr. Dada. It's just so nice, you cannot do without. This is the Science Show with Dr. Dada. It's just so nice, you cannot do without.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Science Show with Dr. Dada, broadcasting here on Jambo Radio, right from the heart of the city of Glasgow. Our homes, our clinics, and our cities can now sense without cameras or wearables, using gentle radio waves to pick up breathing and other things like heart sounds and movement. Today we're joined in the studio by Professor Qammer Abbasi, who has been pushing these from lab to real life. And he's also been very busy advising UK and Scottish governments. So we're really in for a treat today. And the title of the show today is Integrated Communication, Sensing and Imaging Unpacked. So we have a lot to look forward to. But you could be asking yourself, why now? Well, the technology has finally become small. The form factor is now at a point where it's become very, very interesting. It's become more accurate, more affordable, and it's at that scale where it's now enough to matter. So think about contactless checks, better indoor signals, and privacy-first ways to understand what's happening in a room. Who's coordinating this activity? Well, at Glasgow, we have the Communications, Sensing and Imaging Hub. And this hub links engineers, clinicians, and industry together in the activity. Nationally, policy advice helps to turn these good ideas into safe and useful services. So we're so happy to have with us Professor Qammer Abbasi. Just a little bit to introduce our guest. Well, Professor Qammer Abbasi is a professor of applied electromagnetics and sensing at the James Watt School of Engineering at the University of Glasgow. He's a UK government policy advisor at the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology. He's the strategic advisor to the Scotland Technology Council and is a member of the Scottish Science Advisory Council. Wow. He's also the director of the Communication Sensing and Imaging Hub, that's the CSI for short, and he's also the co-director of the UKRI CDT, the Center for Doctoral Training, DiveIn. So we're going to touch on these various aspects through the course of the show. So you could probably sense already that he works at the center, or if you like, the intersection of radio wave sensing, healthcare, and real-world impact, as we can see. So Professor Abbasi, we're so happy to welcome you to the Science Show, and it's really great to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. It's my real honor and pleasure to come on the show. So thank you so much for inviting me to this show.
Fantastic. Privilege is really ours. And again, this is the Science Show with Dr. Dada on Jambo Radio Scotland, broadcasting from the city of Glasgow. We'd like to take this opportunity to shout out to our sponsors and our supporters on the show. That includes EQOQI Scotland, it includes the PSRC through the Impact Acceleration account, and also a reminder that you can listen to Jambo Radio on DAB, and also you can listen through the website jamboradio.co.uk, and also episodes are uploaded to our YouTube channel, Jambo Radio Scotland YouTube channel. Great, so let's dive right in. So the first thing we're going to look at in today's episode is to get to know our guest. So to get to know Professor Abbasi. So first of all, I think a question I'd like to ask people, guests on this show, is: would you like to tell us about your background, where you were born, and your early sort of education, early life?
Yeah, actually, I'm born in a city called Rawalpindi.
Oh, okay.
Next to capital of Pakistan, Islamabad. So,
I see.
And I'm originally from a mountainous place called Murray. That was basically the holiday resort for British back in 18th century. So it is a mountain, part of Himalayas, more than 7,500 feet tall mountains.
Wow.
And then I did my early education from city Rawalpindi, in a school, college, and then I went for my undergraduate degree to a city called Lahore.
Lahore, yes.
In Pakistan, where I went to the engineering university called University of Engineering and Technology Lahore, which is one of the top engineering university in Pakistan.
I see.
And I did my electronics and telecommunication degree from there.
Oh, nice.
And then I started teaching there after my undergrad, and then I moved to London, Queen Mary University of London for doing my PhD.
Nice.
And from there, I moved to Texas A&M. I had a joint appointment between College Station, USA and Qatar. So I spent some time there, mostly in Qatar, working on various projects and going back and forth to College Station. And then in 2017, I moved to University of Glasgow as a lecturer.
Wonderful.
So this was my journey in last, I would say, 15 to 20 years.
That's wonderful. That's great. It sounds very, very interesting. First of all, it sounds like you're from a very beautiful place.
Indeed.
Like a very beautiful part of the world. That's nice. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what would you say first pulled you into this field? Was there a moment, maybe a class or a person that just, did or said something that lit the spark for you?
Actually, since my childhood, I love to do challenging things. So when I was in my undergraduate degree, the most difficult and dry course was electromagnetics, because you cannot visualize electromagnetic waves. And that sparked an interest in me that I want to work on this challenging thing. I want to continue with that. And then that led me to do PhD in that area, in electromagnetics. And then later on, as you move along, you realize that, okay, it's all about electromagnetic waves. And no, we can live without food, but we cannot live without mobile signals, right? Without Wi-Fi signals. So that is all electromagnetics.
Wow, it's so pervasive. It's everywhere. It's very applicable to various aspects of life. I like those kind of disciplines or branches of engineering or physics that it becomes very easy to have impact. In that case, it lends itself very easily to impact. That's fantastic. So, electromagnetics, when I think about that, I remember when I was doing my MSc, I did a course in antenna theory, and there was a book, Balanis.
Yes,
it
absolutely.
And it's just interesting. But for me, I think then it was more of an elective, because I was more optics, I was more like physics, optics, photonics sort of oriented. So that's nice. So was there a turning point when you shifted from working on pure wireless or antennas and moved towards more radio waves for human-centered applications like health and so on?
Yeah. So picking up your point on antennas. So actually, antennas are ears and eyes of wireless communication systems. So without those, no wireless communication can happen.
Yeah.
And as I move along, because I had an interest in electromagnetics, which has physics, maths, very multidisciplinary thing.
Yeah.
So I had an interest in human health, because from my childhood, I had a motivation to try to solve challenges which can help humanity. And healthcare, because I am from a developing country, it's a big challenge. And to make healthcare accessible to all is even a bigger challenge.
Indeed.
I work a lot with Africa and many other developing countries. So I started thinking that how we can make this healthcare model sustainable. And then I came to this point that, see, we have these radio waves everywhere. We have now mobile phone with billions of people. We have Wi-Fi available at homes. So instead of using sensory technologies, for example, if you are from developed countries, you can buy watches, you can buy sensors, but for developing countries, it's not possible. And these devices needs batteries and many other things. So that and that creates a question that is this healthcare model sustainable? And I say it's not sustainable because you need all these auxiliary items which are not affordable to everyone. So then that lead to this idea. I think if I remember correctly, I'm working in this area from 2011. MIT recently started that. At that time, I was a PhD student. So that lead to this point that yes, we can use these radio waves to monitor people, to monitor objects, to monitor anything we like. So and because I wanted to do something more for humanity, so that led me to work its applications in healthcare. So this health can be human health, animal health, or plant health. So I'm working in all these areas.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Healthcare is a big theme in the world. You can't get rid of it. It's always going to be there, isn't it? So
Indeed.
What a wonderful topic and area to be working in.
Yeah.
And who would you say were the mentors or collaborators who also kind of helped you along the way? What do you think?
Oh yeah, that's a very important point. You know, mentors, ideals, those are very important for you to grow in your career.
Yeah.
So I was lucky that since my undergraduate, I always found some good mentors. Then during my PhD, of course, your PhD supervisor, I would like to mention his name, Professor Akram Al-Omeni. I was his first PhD student.
Wow,
So when you're a first PhD student, you have a good interaction.
Yes.
And then as I move along, then I had various mentors. When I moved to Glasgow, I found various mentors. For example, Professor Muhammad Ali Imran, Sir Anton Muscatelli himself. I spoke to him, Uzma Khan, many other people. I spoke to them who were always, Frank Cotton, who were always helping and supportive on those things. So I was very lucky throughout my journey. I'm getting mentors, and then I moved to government. So over there, I was speaking to government colleagues. It will be unfair to name few because there were so many. I believe you need to have good mentors in order to grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because their experience is very important. Without experience, things cannot move.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And that takes us to the next question. So what motivated you to take on these advisory roles alongside your research? Because it's so nice to see. It's quite a lot of hats, to put on. So what would you say moved you to take that step?
Yeah, indeed, I fully agree with you that it's very challenging doing so many hats. It needs loads of time, extra time, taking away from family. So there are many things. So I think the main idea was that, yes, I'm working in my department in communication, sensing and imaging hub, influencing in university level, I'm influencing, but I really want to make a real change, policies which can impact not only country-wise but globally as well. And I really want to help UK because it's my second hometown, so it's my country. So how I can contribute to that so that it can help others as well and country to grow. So that led me basically to get involved in these advisory roles so that I can input my experience, my global network, which I'm very proud of because I have global network where I'm working with so many people. So inputting that to government to impact not only country-wise but globally to make Britain a best place to work on.
That's wonderful. Thanks very much for that. On this show, we're all about impact.
Yeah.
And, one of the ways that we, it's a small way, but being able to talk to or speak to the, next generation is one of the ways that you can have an impact as well. So if a student listening today wants to follow a similar path as what you have, what's one skill or habit that you would tell them to start
cultivating or start building today or this week? What would you say?
I think the main key is be collaborative and hardworking. Yeah. So this is, I would say, a single trait, but alone you can do things, no doubt, but that takes very long. And the way time is moving, you need to work in a collegial manner with a shared main goal where you all want to reach. This way you can be very quick in learning and achieving success.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. I hope all the our listeners are taking notes on those. Yeah. Fantastic. And just before we move on to the next section, one other question I'd like to ask is, so let's say 10 years from now, what impact do you hope that your work or that of your team or students, what impact would you hope that they would be known for, or that you will be known for?
I think my dream would be that in next 10 years, we will be able to have a hologram with all the 5 senses. If you want me to elaborate a bit further, if some students are listening, we humans have 5 senses. And up to now, we are able to transport only 2 or 2.5 senses from point A to B. First is hearing by a phone call. Yeah. Second is vision by a video call. Yeah. Third is haptic by this robotics. Yeah. But we are unable to transport smell and taste. Yeah. So imagine if I teleport all 5 senses from point A to point B, then I will have a hologram with all the sensory information. So I don't need to travel to any other country to enjoy some food with the real ambience, real taste, real smell. Wow. So you can do that, and it has so many applications, and we are working in this area, but I really want it to happen in 10 years, that it's available to everyone.
Yeah, wonderful. That sounds so futuristic.
Yeah.
Sounds like something from a sci-fi movie. Amazing. Great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a short music break, and then we'll be right back. And this has been the Science Show with Dr. Dada, and with us today we have Professor Qammer Abbasi, and we'll be talking about so many things about impact as it relates to integrated communication, sensing, and imaging. And we'll be right back. Welcome back from the music break. As you probably know, this is the Science Show with Dr. Dada, broadcasting from Jambo Radio Scotland, right from the heart of the city of Glasgow. Once again, we'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to our supporters on this show, including the IOP Scotland, EPSRC IAA account, the Impact Acceleration account at the University of Glasgow, and you, our listeners. We wouldn't be here without you. So we'd like to say thank you. Don't forget, you can listen on DAB, and you can listen and watch us live at jamboradio.co.uk. Episodes are also uploaded to our YouTube channel, and that's on our Jambo Radio Scotland YouTube channel, and also to the dedicated YouTube channel for the show, which is T Science Show on all platforms. So that will be fantastic to see you there. Keep the comments, the likes, and all the engagement coming. So we've been talking about integrated communication, sensing, and imaging, and we've had with us Professor Qammer Abbasi. It's been a pleasure discussing about Professor Abbasi's background and how he got started in this field, and also into his role as a policy advisor. So let's talk a little bit more about that now, about your public hats, so to speak. So policy advisor, strategic advisor, council member, hub director. What would you say ties all these roles together right now? What would you say, keeps them kind of cohesive, as it were?
Yeah. So actually, these all roles are interlinked. So as a director of communication, sensing, and imaging hub, we have researchers working with us in various aspects of integrated sensing, communication, and imaging. Whereas as a co-director for Doctoral Training Center on Diversity Drives Innovation, We are training a new pipeline of young researchers.
Nice.
So we are training a workforce, and then workforce, then this research we are doing, of course, this includes workforce as well, but it includes postdoctoral researchers.
Yeah.
And then the research we do, then we have been using this research to inform policies in these roles, both in UK government and Scottish government. And being part of both the government roles, I can liaise between two governments as well. That's something which this government does not know can be communicated to both parties as well. And that can lead to more collaborative work as well. And as a Scottish Science Advisory Council member, that is an independent body which advise government what are the areas which government should be working in future to become world leader and first in the world.
Yeah, that's a very important role. It's really, really nice, very inspiring as well. And how does one get into these advisory roles? Do you get nominated externally, or is there something you can actively do to, get into a job, or get to have a role like that?
Yes, so there are two ways. It's all about reputation, which develops over time. So some roles you apply, and based on those roles, some roles you are being invited. So it's developing a track record. It's not a one-night journey. It includes your years of work, which help you to apply to some role to get that. And based on the work you are doing, you are being noticed. One of the important things probably I'll suggest to students who are listening is to disseminate your work. Whatever work you are doing, try to in the form of publications you do, but using social media for positive impact, telling your work to the world. And that helps you to showcase your work, which is being noticed, and then you are being invited.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Good. So I'm sure your research activity, of course, the outputs there, the papers, the patents, and various forms of outputs. Do you find that the fact that you're in an advisory role kind of helps that from taking things from the lab to the NHS and getting it into people's hands? Do you feel like they kind of interrelate in that way, or is it more separated, like your advisory role and your research?
Oh, no, absolutely. Your advisory roles are based on your experience. And if you are not doing research, you are not making products towards certain TRL level, if you're not doing some kind of fundamental research, if you're not following what is happening in the world by going to conferences, presenting your work, you cannot advise, because these government roles needs a forward thinking, and forward thinking comes when you look at what others are doing, what new work you are doing, and then you input to that. So that's everything is integrated, and I have an experience of working with so many industrial partners as well.
Wonderful.
I have my own spin-offs as well. So we bring research from lab towards translating it to industry and then taking it to policy. So we try to do the complete cycle.
That's a great place to be. Really, really good. I mean, so not everybody has that, isn't it? Some researchers, it's usually, more of, being in the lab, that end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Whereas others, maybe they're in the industry more. But being able to kind of have a hand in the whole, pretty much the whole spectrum is really wonderful. It's really, really nice and inspiring. So, beyond things like, you mentioned a couple of, spin outs, companies, beyond those things, the metrics, papers, patents, what do you track to know research is improving people's lives? Like how does one really know what real impact is being delivered out there.
Explicitly to my research, yeah. Okay, so I think the real impact is when your research is changing life of someone. So one of the research we are doing from last 10 to 15 years is making a non-invasive glucose monitoring device.
Ooh.
So the idea here is that currently this diabetes is being monitored either by a finger pricking technique in developing countries, but in developed countries they have a freestyle Libara sensor
now,
which is expensive. It has a life of only 14 days. You have to replace it. But both techniques for monitoring diabetes is not friendly at all, because pricking a finger ultimately is very painful. Same with sensor as well. But what we have developed in our lab was basically a device which is very similar to oximeter. When you go to doctor, they place an oximeter on your finger to see oxygen level. So that device is similar to that, but it measures your blood glucose level without any finger pricking. So it's a fully non-invasive device. So we have tested that on 500 people suffering from diabetes in clinical setting in Pakistan with various hospitals, and then also we have tested that around 140 people in UK, specifically in Glasgow as well, which include football clubs and some religious places, and we have patent for that. We have so many things going on in that domain, and it is a real impact, because around 470 million people are suffering from diabetes, and this is the number which has been declared, but there are more than that. So it feels so good because it's going to various next stages, for example regulatory approval, but then going to market. But speaking to people with diabetes who used it, you feel so good that okay, this is the real impact.
Yes,
This is the real impact.
Thanks so much for sharing that. That sounds wonderful. I remember a couple of, maybe about 10, 15 years ago, a friend approached and said, because she knew I was working in physics, in physical sciences, and she said, "Oh, do you know of any product that doesn't involve puncturing your fingers or stuff like that?" And I was like, at the time, there wasn't, and I said, well, I don't think there's anything on the market. At
Still
least
there is nothing.
there will be research, but it's just nice to see how far things have come, since then, and the fact that actually now it exists, and it's just really, really good. That's what impact looks like, isn't it? Absolutely. Wow, that's fantastic. So that's impact. The other thing I wanted to talk about was this idea of talent and inclusion. So just talking a little bit more about the DiveIn CDT. So the question is, if Scotland wanted to lead here, what skills would you say are maybe missing today, and how would the DiveIn CDT help fill that gap?
Yeah, so this DiveIn CDT, which is a doctoral training center funded by UK Research and Innovation. So the idea here is that people from different backgrounds can have more disruptive outcomes when they do research. So idea is that diversity drives innovation. So there's a research out as well that if we have diversity, then outcomes will be different. So we are talking about diversity not only in terms of gender, but it's in terms of student background, supervisor's background. So it's diversity in all possible ways you can think. And what we have done is that sometimes people have special circumstances. For example, none of their family member had studied. For example, someone went away from studies and have kids and now want to study again.
Sure.
So people from underprivileged background as well. So in this doctoral training center, we try to attract those people, provide them an environment so that they can do their doctoral studies. And we have designed a special program where we have trainings, where they have an opportunity to choose their supervisors, where they have a pastoral care throughout the program. And this is very disruptive. This is not done before. So we are equally anxious as well that will it be successful or not, but we are very confident. I would like to mention my other 3 co-directors. So we are 4 co-directors, Ross, Caroline, and Caroline. We all are from different disciplines, chemistry, physics, engineering, and engineering. So we are working together to make this disruptive change so that we can change the landscape of how postgraduate studies are being done, and it can support people from underprivileged background as well. And we are fortunate that we have started our first cohort. We have 10 students being hired in this cycle, and before coming to this podcast, I was actually meeting those students as well. So we believe that in this way, we can change the landscape, and this CDT is about training these students in critical technologies which are defined by UK government as quantum, advanced connectivity technologies, semiconductor, engineering, biology, and other AI and other areas. So
AI. I'll come back to AI in a moment. AI is very hot, as you know. Everything seems to incorporate some form of AI or the other.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. It's nice to know more about the DiveIn CDT, and I'm sure our listeners will enjoy that as well. That's really good. So now, before we move into the last section or segment of our show, we're going to take another music break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about Professor Abbasi's frontier work and how this is really resonating with the general public. We've touched on it a little bit, but we'll talk a little bit more about that, and we'll be right back. Well, you're welcome back to the Science Show with Dr. Dada here on Jambo Radio Scotland, and that was our music break. We've been talking here on this episode of the show about integrated communication, sensing, and imaging unpacked. And we've had with us Professor Qammer Abbasi, who's been really enlightening us on various aspects of his work related to this topic. Now we're going to get into the third segment of our show today, and we're going to be talking about the frontier work that Professor Qammer Abbasi is doing and how that's resonating with the public. So let's ask some very sort of simple, let's break things down for the non-specialist now.
Yeah.
So for someone hearing this for the first time, how would you explain this to them? How can gentle radio waves pick up things like breathing, or the amount of glucose in the blood? How does this actually work?
Yeah. So let me go one step back. So first thing is integrated sensing and communication.
Fantastic.
The idea here is that we have an infrastructure around us. We have Wi-Fi routers. We have mobile signals. So we have this mobile technology installed around. So the idea here is that can we use the same network to do sensing as well? So this is one of the key features for 6G. Up to 5G, we were talking about communication as a mode, mobile communication as a mode of connectivity.
Yeah.
But in 6G, one of the hot topic is that can we use same communication network to do sensing as well? For example, can I sense your vitals and then transmit it at the same time to the doctor? So this is sensing and communication
both
together. That is the
Ah.
integrated. For example,
Wonderful.
I have this mobile signals. Can I detect the drone in the sky and communicate as well that if it's an intruder or a friend or foe?
I
So you
see.
can do both things with the same communication technology,
Wonderful.
because this will save cost, right? This will make our environment more sustainable,
Yes.
right? We are moving towards net zero and beyond net zero. It will do that. Energy efficiency, cost, so many things. Spectrum as well, which is very expensive thing. So this is integrated sensing and communication. Now let's come to the point of sensing something without any kind of device. So using mobile signals and Wi-Fi signals. So the idea here is that these ambient radio frequency signals are around us, we cannot see it. So what happens is that we need a transmitter, we need a receiver. So I transmit a signal. When it goes through the environment, which is channel,
Yes.
okay, when it passes through the channel, it has an amplitude and it has a phase. So at the receiver side, we look at the changes in that amplitude or phase to detect breathing rate, heart rate, and even we use these signals to read the lip movement as well. So we can now read sentences this remotely as well.
That's amazing. How, when you say remotely, how remote is it? Because so so someone's in the next room.
Yeah.
Can you read up to that level of detail?
Yes. So we can do that, but in order to increase resolution, we have developed a technology in the University of Glasgow called smart surfaces, reconfigurable intelligent surfaces. So, you know, like if I put in a simple word, so in order to amplify the audio signal, we use amplifiers, right?
Yeah.
So that if I want my signal, audio signal to go far away, I use speakers.
Yep.
So in past, when there was no electricity, in hundreds of years ago, so how we used to bring light inside homes by using mirrors, right? We amplify those light signals. So in order to amplify radio signals, we develop a technology called smart surfaces, or reconfigurable intelligent surfaces. What they do, they are actually mirror to electromagnetic waves. So you place it anywhere, they can focus the electromagnetic wave on you, on a subject. So ultimately, resolution will improve.
Yeah, I see. So you can kind of mold as you want. That's why it's reconfigurable.
Yes, and smart surfaces. So we have developed that technology in Glasgow. We have took it to standardization, to various applications. So answering your question, by including those surfaces, we can impinge electromagnetic signals in the basement where sometimes there are no coverage. We can take it further away, for example, in the second room, if we want to basically have higher resolution. So currently we can see behind the wall by using those surfaces, but if we want to have more resolution, more accuracy, if there are multiple people, multiple subjects, multiple objects, we can enhance resolution by using those surfaces.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really, really cool. Really cool. So, nice. And if I remember correctly, you've shown some sort of radar stethoscope.
Yes.
And so let's say we put one in the GP's clinic or care home tomorrow. What would an appointment look like?
That's a very good question, and that is my dream to make it happen. You know, if you go to E&E now, so you know there is a long waiting time.
Yeah.
Right. So imagine that, and sometimes some people, first thing they do is look at your vitals, right? Whenever you do go. So imagine that we are in a queue, we are sitting, and I have this device installed in that hall and can measure vitals for people. And if someone has abnormal vital, the receptionist or a nurse can see and say, okay, immediately bring that. And this is actually what we're doing. We are working basically with clinicians to make this work. So hopefully in few years time this will be a norm. You can see that.
That's wonderful. That sounds like something from a sci-fi movie, you know, like someone goes to the clinic and as they enter, you know, boom, 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 you know, there's someone sees already, oh, madam, could you please come in this room,
Yeah.
and they know, okay, that person's okay, that person needs attention right now because the heart, they can see.
Yes,
Wow,
absolutely.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. So radar stethoscope. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure our listeners really look forward to that, nearby future when this will become reality in the clinics. And people can actually benefit from the workings of these kinds of devices. And you explore lip or mouth movement. You mentioned something like that
Yeah.
already as well. So even through masks, so if someone has, mask. So in plain English, what signal are you actually reading? Like, how does that work? Just in, very high level.
Yeah. So again, let me take you one step back.
Yes.
So the idea here is that how to make an intelligent future hearing aid devices. If you speak to any hearing impaired people, they hate to wear hearing aid devices because it creates a cocktail effect. Cocktail effect is that those devices are being trained for certain environment and they have a certain noise threshold.
Yeah.
So if you take them to other environment, they will not work and will create a cocktail effect which hits in the brain like needle. So people don't like to wear it. So we thought that can we make hearing aid device intelligent, inspired by human brain? So when I'm speaking to you, your brain is interpreting what I'm saying not only based on my audio. It's looking at my body language, my facial expression, my lip movement, combine all that and convert it to useful information.
Yeah.
So inspired by that concept, we thought we need to make a hearing aid device which takes multimodal information instead of only audio.
Yeah.
So what we started doing is that can we read lip movement? So Google had glasses few years back which has a camera in it.
Yeah.
So it can read your lip movement. But during pandemic, a challenge came that people were wearing a mask.
Oh.
So camera technology cannot see under the mask, but these radio waves can penetrate through wall, they can penetrate through clothes. So we use these radio waves to read the lip movement. So the idea is we send signal, it basically reflect back, and it had a embedded information about what you are saying. And then we apply machine learning to that to get the actual information. And you will see this will be basically probably it will take a bit longer, but 10 to 15 years, this intelligent hearing aid device will be out and it will help life of millions who are suffering from this hearing impairment.
Wow. These sound so great. These technologies. The future is going to be very exciting. I'm really excited about the future, based on these nice things to come. Fantastic. So, when you talked about the smart surfaces, it means you can make them into walls as well.
Oh, yes.
So like the entire, it can be part of the architecture, the infrastructure. And so, for example, say we're in a concrete office with dead zones, like there's no Wi-Fi. You could install something in the walls that means that people, no matter where you are in the building, no matter what the original situation was, you can now have signal, and you can even do more than that. That's wonderful. Now, let's talk a bit about you mentioned it already, machine learning. That's AI, isn't it?
Yeah.
In other words, so you've built AI tools that read these radio wave patterns. And what would you say, if you would like to share with us, what does the AI spot that a human engineer would miss, for example?
So one thing I want to clarify, in our studies, I'm not a computer scientist. So we use AI as a tool in helping us.
Yeah.
So we do not work on hardcore AI development. Yeah. So we use AI tools by using our collected data to do predictions and analysis. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
That's
Training is the key. So basically let me give you an example of this contactless sensing work. So what we do, we train the model on a certain environment. For example, we were testing it in a few rooms where we collected the data, which is called baseline. So we collect the baseline data that I am doing this activity.
Yep.
This is what
It looks like.
it looks like. And that is baseline. So we train our model. Then we took it to unseen data. And then that model performs on that data. Probably sometimes it does not perform well. So we retune our model to make it work. And AI is very important for healthcare because it helps us to make proactive decisions. By proactive means something before it happens, that we take decision before it happens. So data is a gold mine now. So we collect data by using devices, store it, and then we can use that to make predictions which are proactive detection to save lives.
Wow, that's wonderful. And when it comes to AI, developing these models and training them to do certain tasks, in your case, what would you say is your method to keep it from making overconfident guesses? To prevent, when it's something to do with real life, health, you want to make sure, while it's very useful, you also want to put some controls in place so that it doesn't make guesses and, gives false positives and so on.
Yeah. So I think creating a good model is very important. And key in our work is that we work with actual experts. For example, we are applying and developing models for dentistry application. So the idea is that from 2D and 3D images, can we detect any kind of anomalies in tooth? And for that, we have an expert dentist with us, which help us to label the data, which help us to tell that this model or analysis is making basically useful outcome or not. So the key here is you need to have experts of domain. Otherwise, it will be underfitting or overfitting what you said, that it will give something which is not applicable. So it's very important that you work in a multidisciplinary manner with collaborators in the expert field. So this is what we are doing. So in our diabetes work, in our contactless sensing work, in our telecommunication work, whatever we do, we work very closely with collaborators who are expert in the domain to make sense out of the data. Right?
That's wonderful. So yeah, that's good. So experts are involved. That's a key thing, isn't it? Yeah. Wonderful. Now, what about privacy? How would you say, because I think a lot of people, I remember when there was some breaking news went viral back then, not long ago, about, now they can use Wi-Fi signals to see what's going on in a room. And there's they train AI to, based on the training, they can now actually use your Wi-Fi, router and signal to basically see what's happening in your room. So a lot of these, technologies, because of they're so see-through walls to do all these things. So would you like to say one or two things about privacy and what sort of privacy first? I know in your work, privacy is high, has very high priority. So what would you say on that?
So one of the things, the work we are doing, this contactless sensing, one of the motivation is privacy of the user. So there were technologies already in the market, camera-based technology, which can monitor people.
Yep.
But the problem there is it invades your privacy. I do not want camera to be installed in my washroom, right? I do not want camera to be installed in my living room where I'm chilling.
Yeah. Visual
information. Yeah, so I do not want that. And we work with end users. One of the key element of our research is we work with end users. We spoke to care homes, we spoke to elderly people about the technology, and they said, we do not like these camera technology, it invades my privacy. We do not like wearables because I do not want to charge devices. I forget when I take bath. So that led to this work on contactless sensing, which is privacy preserved in a manner that it preserves users' privacy. But the other challenge of privacy is that even by that work, you can look at the patterns to invade someone's privacy. And that is an open domain challenge now in this research area, privacy and ethical constraints, which researchers around the world are looking at, including us as well, that how we can make these new technologies more secure, resilient, and also ethically acceptable. Because if we are collecting someone's data, it's his or her data or their data.
Yeah.
So there needs to be some ethical principles around that, how to get that data to be used for training models.
Yeah.
How to get who will be the owner of that data. So there are so many things going on this domain around the world.
Yeah. And it's true of any new technology. They'll always think about AI, for example.
Yeah.
There'll always be things that are okay. So now we have this power. We now have to see, okay, how do we, deal with these things? And it's just very, very exciting, very exciting. So good. Now something a bit practical. So let's say in a hospital, they say, okay, this device, okay, it's great. These capabilities are nice. What does it cost? How is it maintained? And who is liable if the system misses a warning or something like that? Is this? Do you have any insights on that?
Yeah, so I'm being invited in many panels around this globally. And the challenge here is for acceptability of technology, especially if we talk about, let's take an example of human healthcare. It's a big challenge. If we bring a technology, will insurance be responsible? Will the technology vendor will be responsible? Will the seller will be responsible? Will the buyer himself will be responsible? So there is no defined model yet. And it's under debate. There are so many parties involved in it to come on a consensus how it will look like. So I do not have a definite answer to this, because I'm telling you, I've been to so many panels. It was debate, but it is converging to something. In few years' time, we will have some standard model. How it will look like, I don't know that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And that's just the way it is with cutting edge frontier stuff. There'll be things that we're still trying to figure out. It's just, again, using the example of AI, a lot of the regulation is still kind of up in the air. Like, okay, what are we doing with this amazing new technology? Wow, that's wonderful. We could talk on and on and on. It's so exciting, so many different things we could talk about. But in the interest of time, we'll have to call it a day there on the Science Show with Dr. Dada. On this episode, of course, featuring Professor Qammer Abbasi. It's so nice. It's been fantastic having you with us. Usually on this show, when guests come, we get them to either sing or rap or... I'm just kidding.
Very bad singer.
No worries. I'm sure people from Pakistan have so many nice dances that maybe you could do one or two moves for us, but we won't do that today. We won't get you to do that. But we maybe can crack one joke. Is that okay? One science themed joke. So it goes like this. What's the difference between a stethoscope and your radio sensor? What do you say? Or maybe it's a riddle or a quiz or whatever you want to call it.
This radio stethoscope has no connection with your body. It's totally away from your body, remote.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's exactly what I have, which is one requires you to take your clothes off.
One does not require your clothes. I do not want to say that. I had that answer in my mind, but I didn't know that I can go that open.
That's the joke. It's like, so one detects, on the skin.
Yeah.
The other needs you can have your
You
clothes
don't need
on,
to take off your clothes.
which is nice. Which is
the one of the nice things about it, which is that you can just be yourself. Nobody needs to see your picture.
Yeah.
You can get the information without seeing
the person, all that things that you don't need.
Yes, correct.
Which is amazing.
Well, anyway, this is a wrap on the Science Show with Dr. Dada today. And of course, as you know, this show is your weekly fix for breakthrough discoveries and the buzzing scenes when it comes to science across Scotland. Please share your questions with us
anytime at the Science Show or T Science Show on every platform. So be that YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. So we'll be looking forward to getting engagement from you. And big thanks to you, our listeners, and the whole of the Jambo Radio crew for making this show possible. Once again, we'd like to thank you, Professor Qammer Abbasi, for joining us on the show. It's been a great pleasure discussing these things with you. Very fantastic technologies and very exciting future to look forward to as well.
Well, I'm Dr. Dada, and with that, I'd like to say, stay curious.